Welcome. I bid you welcome to the first installment of a little series I'm going to be doing here called basically it's going to be my top 10 songs. And I wanted to start off with my birth year. John Clauser, Johnny Metal, the Metal Dad. How y'all doing tonight for this Monday night? Yes, it's a cold Monday for some of us, even in here in the South, down here in Birmingham, Alabama. We're a little on the chilly side. My thoughts and prayers to all those up in the Northeast going through some snow. I know up in my my Eastern Shore Maryland folks got some snow, and my mom got a little snow up in PA. So no, Roger, that was 1969. I was born. Sorry, wrong year. But and just to give you a fun little thing here, folks, I'm going to add this up here. So right there, folks. How's that for a cute little kid, huh? Yeah, that would be my baby picture. So yeah, December 16th, 1969. So anyway, yeah. So I thought I wanted to do this thing where I would talk about my favorite songs, the top 10 songs, starting with my birth year, which of course is 1969. Now, granted, yeah, I just got the tail end of the year. I didn't quite make it in, didn't totally make the end of it. Just got in there right at the nick of time. So, so I thought, I want to look over what came out that year, and I want to just see what's my favorite songs. Now, there's going to be some songs that I'm going to probably have missed, and maybe it's just because, well, I didn't either grow up with them that much, or I didn't listen to them that much, or I wasn't into the band or whatever. Because I know there's going to be a lot of good things I missed. And I really almost should have started with 1968 because I had a couple tracks that I really wanted to use, but then I realized, no, they actually technically came out in 1968. One song in particular is kind of a silly song, but I was going to use the song from the Bonzo Dog Doodah Band, "I'm the Urban Spaceman." It came out on a compilation album in 1969, but the song itself was actually released as a single in 68, and Neil Innes won awards for that in 1968. So that one got disqualified. But anyway, so let's get into this list. My first pick from number 10. This song is a bit of a departure for this band a little bit. It's still got this rockin' vibe to it, but you have this horn section, a little bit of an orchestra section going on, and then you got this really good sax solo by Curtis Amy. Of course, I'm talking about "Touch Me" from The Doors. Yeah, Jim Morrison here. He's sounding very suave and very romantic sounding almost. It's a totally different sound compared to what you would normally hear from The Doors, but yet you still got John Densmore and Ray and Robbie here. They're just killing it in the back with the music. There's this John's got this great tribal beat going on in the back. It's a great little track. Like I said, I love Morrison's vocal here. He just sounds so good. Very, like I said, almost romantic to a point. But and yeah, maybe maybe back then, maybe a lot of fans thought that they were kind of leaning towards what the Beatles and the Stones and bands like that were starting to do. But I think looking back now, I think there's a lot of brilliance you can see from the particular album here. So yeah, number 10 is going to be "Touch Me" by The Doors. Number 9, I thought I had a physical copy of this CD, but I did not, and I'm kind of sad about it. But so I'm going to flash this little box set up here. So I'm going to talk about a song from the first Genesis album, from Genesis to Revelation. Now, the fun thing about that album is, the joke was that the album, when it came out, a lot of record stores they saw the title and the band name, and they thought, oh, well, this has got to be a religious album. So they put in like like a religious section, gospel section, which that album, no, 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 no. There's not a lot of that kind of stuff here. So this album, the first Genesis album, is totally different from what they would become. This is a very much more pop oriented. I think some songs kind of had this almost like an early Bee Gees kind of feel to it, if you can imagine that. Um, much different from what they would become. There were little sparks, and the song that I'm picking here is a song called "In the Beginning." And this is a very the imagery here is very brash and violent and almost chaotic, and when you listen to the lyrics, and but yet there are these little snippets of what you could see the band becoming later. And these guys were still kind of in school, and they kind of look back at this with some fondness, but then some kind of we were still kids. If I was writing songs like that in high school, I'd be proud. I would be talking a lot more about it. Anyway, In the Beginning, it's a very acoustic piano, acoustic guitar and piano driven song. I don't know, Sydney. Tune in to find out. Anyway, it's an acoustic driven song with a piano. You got a good bass line going. You got the good drum. You got Peter Gabriel's vocal going on. Fits the song perfectly. Fits the song perfectly. Really an underrated album to really, if you know Genesis, but you've never took a chance with that first album, you'd be really shocked. I think you'd be quite surprised at how good it is. Worth a listen. All right, next song, number 8. And I'm gonna pull this one up because Sydney and Roger, I got my Canadian folks watching tonight, and this next band is actually from Canada. And technically, I almost had to take this song off. And by the way, I have to give Pete Jones credit because he got Grant to start doing this top 10 thing. But it was basically, correct me if I'm wrong on this, Peter, this was a top 10, whatever was on the Billboard charts at the time. That was the kind of the idea that that should have been with with that show. But then it kind of morphed into all kinds of crazy things. And then they got me on that show, which then I took it into totally different directions. But anyway, I wanted to give Pete Jones that credit because he really was the guy that kind of spearheaded this whole thing a little bit. So Professor, good to see you. Number 8. So technically, this song did get released as a single. There's another fellow Canadian, Mike Lodano. How you doing, my friend? Grab a stack of rock. Check out his Iron Maiden series. He just had a great show about Queensryche this past Friday. So definitely be checking that out. And Sydney, I may just take you up on that. I may join you for that. So I'll let you know. I will let you know on that. All right, number 8. So this song was technically released as a single right at the tail end of 1968. And Pete Jones, thank you for that information. I thought that's what it was. Yeah, for me, a lot of some of these songs didn't even appear on any of the charts. I know In the Beginning certainly didn't, and I know a couple of other tracks did not either, but. Anyway, so this song, this one did come out in December of 68 as a single up in Canada. It would not be released until, I know, me too. Mondays they're closed. We had to go to a ramen place tonight. So, which was very, very good. Fuku Ramen here in Birmingham. Another wonderful place to eat at, as well as the Anvil pub. I will go to those places all the time. All right. You guys are probably dying. What is this silly song that I'm going to put up? Well, of course, it's These Eyes from the Guess Who. I love this song. I've always loved this song. It feels very much like a lot of the stuff that was coming out in the 60s toward the tail end there. And now this song is much more ballady, feeling, much more laid back. Originally, the song was supposed to be called. This song was supposed to be called "These Arms" because it was written by Randy Bachman. But then, as slow as Sydney here will say, Burton Cummings then brings in. He changes the title to "These Eyes," and then he adds that middle eight section. And Burton Cummings' voice is just amazing in this song. It's absolutely beautiful. Um, Lovely song here. Always was one of my favorite songs by the Guess Who. Sure, I like the rock and stuff like American Woman or No Time or No Sugar Tonight, something like that. But there's something beautiful about These Eyes, and I found this. This is a single. I believe this was from Italy or France. I don't recall right off the top of my head, but I thought this was a nice sleeve for that. So let's see. Yes, I can imagine, Mike. Yeah, aside from Pete Jones, all my viewers tonight have all been Canadian, so I love this. Okay, number 7. All right, now this song really should be higher, and I'm sure a lot of people will think it should be higher. This comes off of this artist's second solo album. He still wasn't getting a lot of fanfare yet at this point. It would really be another couple of years later till he finally breaks loose. And yes, I probably would agree with you on that too. In my opinion, I might be wrong on that. um, yeah, and then his record label then would re-release the song in 1973, and then this song would actually go to number 15 on the charts. When it first went on the charts in 69, yeah, it didn't even break the top 100. And this song kind of talks about if an astronaut was a rock star. And I'm talking about Space Oddity here from David Bowie's from his second album. Space Oddity is a wonderful song, a little bit more complex sounding than what he'd been doing prior to this. And this song really speaks of, there's a lot of talk about loneliness, which when you're in space by yourself, there is, I'm sure that can get kind of lonely after a while. Ash, how you doing, my brother? Good to see you, an Australian brother. Unfortunately, I do not have any Australian songs on my list today, but anyway, this is a great track. I've always liked Space Oddity. Major Tom as the rock star, astronaut, celebrity kind of thing. But then something terrible happens and he's just floating off in his tin can. And, he's basically going to be waiting to die, that's got to be an awful experience in space when, the dangers of space travel, even, back then when they hadn't even gotten to the moon yet at that point. That would happen in July. But classic song here from Bowie, one of many, many classics. This was tell me about it. That was, I was a little surprised at that too. But yeah, I need to go back to look through, I need to really listen to a lot more Bowie. I've been meaning to, and I just have never gotten around to it. But I'm going to. I promise. One of these days, I'm going to. All right, David Bowie, great track. Okay, number 6. I feel like I have to put the obligatory Beatles song up here, and so yes, I've got to pick something from Abbey Road, and it's going to be the album opener, "Come Together." The things I learned about this song was how it started off as a political campaign song for Timothy Leary. And then John just kind of took it and morphed it into something different. Sydney, no Wasp, not in 1969. Blackie, I think, would have only been about 13 at this point. So no Wasp on this list. Although I am wearing it and I'm displaying them. Started off as a campaign slogan for Timothy Leary, but then John decided to kind of morph it off into a totally different direction. And, there's a lot of oddball creatures and imagery in this song. but you got to love that blues shuffle, which was really, it's also kind of borrowed from an old Chuck Berry song called, I have to get the title right, You Can't Catch Me. A lot of fun characters here, and just a fun. No, I don't. uh, um, best of I don't know. I like this album, but I guess I'm also partial to Sergeant Pepper's myself. I don't know. I'm not as big of the. I like the Beatles, um, but I can't really say I'm like this major huge fan. I don't know if I can tell you I like. I would really have to really dig deep into ranking their songs and their albums and stuff like that. But yeah, you gotta love John's vocal here, the swagger of the drums. I think this is a wonderful, wonderful track from what would be their final studio album. Now I remember I flashed this up here. This is my baby picture. Okay, y'all want to know something funny? I actually had Googled this once, and I discovered what the number one song was the week I was born. And I was quite surprised at what this song was, because it's actually one of my favorite songs. I've always enjoyed this song quite a lot. And it's actually a song. It was really just a single. It was one of like 3 or 4 singles written by this band. Well, I don't know, maybe, who knows? Yeah, Come Together, of course, covered by Aerosmith for the box office flop that was the Sergeant Pepper's movie, and Trouble also did a really cool version of it too. But anyway, so this song, it was recorded as one of a few singles, and Mercury Records really liked this song. What they did with this was written by guys named Paul Lecca, Gary DiCarlo, and Dale Frauscher, and they called themselves Steam. So what is the song? Na 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 na, hey hey hey, goodbye. It's funny that when you hear that song, there's actually other lyrics to this song. It's kind of crazy to think about that, and really, and the song's gone on to sell like 6.5 million copies since then. I think this was yes, I would agree with that stuff. Ash, that movie was a more than a flop, and it was a disaster because nobody cared about the Bee Gees or Peter Frampton after that. Anyway, yeah, na na na, hey hey, goodbye, kiss him goodbye is really the name of the track. But yeah, there's a lot of other fun parts to this song. One of the cool things is that it became a very popular sports thing, especially in the sports taunting, when the organist from the Chicago White Sox would play it for recalled pitchers starting in 1971. I would hear it in wrestling things, when wrestlers were about to leave a promotion, the crowd would start chanting that. It just, nobody else remembers the rest of the song, but they do remember that little clip of that line, the na na hey hey goodbye. Anyway, this is a really cool song. But yes, this song went to number one the week I was born. And what did it knock off, you ask? Come Together. There you go. Tie those two songs together. Okay, now my next one. This is going to be the last of these. So this next song, I gotta get a little water here. Okay. My brother Eric coming in with this one. Yeah. Gotta love that. The Southside Hitman. I forgot about that name, man. That's a good one, Eric. I completely forgot that was what they were called back then. I was a big Phillies fan, so I didn't know a whole lot about the other teams, but that's pretty cool. Very, very cool. Okay, number 4. Now, this song was originally featured in the movie or in the musical Hair. You know what? As Marlon would probably tell me, I need to get a haircut. But um, um, ooh, this maybe this one will show up. Maybe it won't. You never know. Okay, number four. This was featured in the musical Hair. Very different than what this band would do on their second album, and this uh, this uh, this was an album that was in my household growing up as a child. My both my brother and sister were very big fans of this band, and I remember this album very very well. And I'm talking about suitable for framing from Three Dog Night. The song is Easy to Be Hard. When you listen to the version from Hair, it is a much more soulful, very much more R&B kind of feel. And I'm going to flash up Peter Jones's. Yes, that's another good track from Chicago. Good stuff there. Um, there's some when with Three Dog Night's version, you've got Jimmy Greenspoon's haunting organ. I mean, haunting organ. And then there's like this little string section that comes. You got Floyd Sneed and Joe Shermy on bass and guitar, um, just laying it down and just creating this beautiful atmosphere. Chuck Negron just singing for his soul on this. Absolute wonderful song. I don't even want to listen to the original version from here. It's just, to me, it's just that good. Their version goes to number 4 on the charts. Um, on Laserdisc even. Yikes. I don't know if I would have spent that money to watch it on. I don't even know. I don't think I even went to see that on the in the big screen. Um, and yes, absolutely. Rest in peace to Chuck Negron. He recently passed away. Gosh, just about a couple weeks ago. I know he's had a ton of health issues. Yeah, they were definitely hit making masters. They had a lot of good songs on this album. You know, one of the other songs off this that was always to me was even a bigger song, was also a big song from them, was Celebrate. That was a really good track as well. There you go, another Jethro Tull love there. They also do a version of Feeling All Right and A Change Is Gonna Come. You know, there's also a couple of original songs that the band did, like Danny Hutton wrote a song and Floyd Sneed does an instrumental. But mostly they were kind of known for getting behind some of the songs of the day, and then they would make their own versions and really rock it out. You know, but Easy to Be Hard, they certainly made that their own, and Chuck absolutely just soars on that song. Absolutely wonderful track. Okay, next one up. This would be from the final. And and I think it was Ash who said something about the Who, and I think he suggested "See Me, Feel Me," which I really should have included that because I do love that track. But this next song is going to be from this would be from this band's final album. Two of the members will go on to form another little supergroup after this. Cream's Goodbye. I'm picking the song Badge, or is it Bridge? I think it was originally, supposedly Eric Clapton said it was originally called Bridge, but he couldn't read George Harrison's writing. He thought it said Badge. Or was it George Harrison? Or was it Le Angelo de Glorioso or Misterioso, as it's credited on the album, due to some more love for the Guess Who with Undone. Wonderful little track. Very, very simple, very easy beat song from Cream, who is a lot more complex. And with those three guys, man, they could just do so much good stuff with what they were given. And it's always interesting to me when Clapton calls up George Harrison and asks him, "Hey, could you play on this track? I don't feel like my guitar is advanced enough to play on this." And so there you go. Yeah, he co-wrote it with Eric, even though it's on the album. It's just to Eric. Contractual reasons basically told is basically why they couldn't do that. Um, but yeah, Badge. What a great little compact 2 minutes 45 second song. Great little song. Lovely guitar work. Um, um, well, and it's funny because it's half live, half studio, and really the studio songs, I mean, are okay, but Badge is always one of the, and I love the version of I'm So Glad on here. But yeah, I can agree with that, Ash. Um, that's coming. Give me a minute on that one, Peter. All right, number two. I already mentioned that two of the members from Cream would go on to form another little super group. Now I'm gonna just say it right now. Blind Faith. No, I'm not going to show that cover. Um, another good track from the first Chicago album. Um, yeah, the song I'm going to go with from the first Blind Faith album. There was a few I could have gone with. I love Presence of the Lord. I love Can't Find My Way Home. I love Well All Right. But for me, it has to be Had to Cry Today. With Steve Winwood added in their vocals from Traffic, and then Rick Gretsch on bass. Steve's vocal here is you feel the theme of the song, which talks about in the kind of this emotional sadness and just trying to release from a painful loss or breakup or something like that. And it's a wonderful, wonderful song. And it's just got this great riff, that great track. Ooh, there you go. A little love for Tom Jones. Good stuff there, Peter. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I agree. Very, very much worth checking out. But then you get the goodness at the end of the song where both Steve and Eric are just playing away. You got Ginger and Rick holding it down. Wonderful track. Almost 9 minutes of absolute goodness. I agree. It is a Ginger Baker jam track, but it's a lot of fun, a lot of good stuff there. But again, this song wasn't necessarily a single, but man, what a great track! It's just one of my favorites from this album. And last one, it's been mentioned in the comments by the professor. They came out with 2 albums this year, and man, boy, did I want to. I really wanted to include both of them, but I thought I wanted to give a little bit more love to at least one song from the band. This song, when the riff was being played in this little documentary movie called It Might Get Loud, and you see, Jack White take his guitar and he just kind of puts it down like he's bowing in reverence. You watch the Edge just kind of like, because Jimmy Page is playing the riff that brought a lot of hands to a guitar. What a riff of Whole Lot of Love. It's simple, it's easy, but there's something so powerful about that simple. What a track. You got theremin, 37 bars of theremin goodness from Jimmy. You got Robert with all kinds of echo and all kinds of beautiful stuff going on here. And yes. Oh yes, great tune indeed. Thank you, Christian. I appreciate you, brother. I wanted to if I was going to pick a different Zeppelin tune, I would have picked How Many More Times. I love How Many More Times, and it would have worked because that came out in the beginning part of '69, and 2 came out the second one. Cindy, I know a lot of people love physical graffiti. And here's what I'm going to say about that. They may have progressed a lot of songwriters, but they, in my opinion, well, no, that wasn't Sydney that said that. This is Eric. My bad. Um, what I'm going to say about this, Eric, is there is a certain energy that you can't deny. The first two albums are All Killa, No Fella. To me, I feel like Physical Graffiti has a little bit of extra filler in there, and it just doesn't have. Um, oh God, I could have picked almost both albums, and it would have been my top 10 songs. Um, I don't know. To me, Physical Graffiti has some filler to me, and it just, yes, there are some good gems in there, but to me, that second half just does, after In the Light, most of the rest of the album doesn't do a whole lot for me. Um, but and to me, there's something about those first four albums that I can't deny. The energy is so strong and so amazing. Personally, the fourth album is my favorite, but any given time of the day, I could say number two would be my favorite. It tends to go back and forth a lot. So, but I love Whole Lot of Love. I love so much of the second album. Like Peter said, I love Ramble On. I love Bring It On Home. Um, 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 I would like to actually see that place, believe it or not. I would love to go down that street there in Manhattan to see that area. Um, I like Presence to a point, but I can't, when it compares to the first four for me, the first four went out big time. So, but that's just me. So there you go, folks. That would be my picks from 1969. Um, I hope to do this series frequently. Um, it is a strong song, Sydney. I'll give you that. I might put that in my top 10, maybe 15. But Achilles' Last Stand is probably the strongest song on that album. I very much love that one. Um, so I hope to do this as an ongoing series. I probably will. I don't know how often I'm going to do this, but I hope I can do this fairly regularly, maybe every other week or 3 weeks, something like that. But, you know, I kind of want to revisit a lot of the years leading up to when I started doing the show on Grant. And I may even kind of redo some of my picks from what I was on Grant's show. And maybe just talk a little bit more at length in some of these songs. So let me know what you think about this. I hope you enjoyed this show. Um, I missed kind of doing this stuff a little bit. It's been a little while since I did a good live stream. So thank you guys all for tuning in. I really appreciate you all. Um, I completely agree. I'm going to be seeing Ben Carson hopefully soon. We'll talk. We'll talk about that, Mile Roger. So, Eric, I thank you, brother. You and I will be doing, hopefully, we'll get together and we'll try and do some good stuff. Um, and yeah, I appreciate everybody. I really do. We will see you guys soon. I don't have anything on my dock to be on with anybody anytime soon. So let's see what we can do. Okay. We'll see you soon. I hope everybody has a good rest of the night. For all you people up in the north, stay warm, stay safe with the snow. One last thing before I leave. I have a lot of amazing cousins, and tomorrow, thank you, Jack. I appreciate you. Christian, appreciate you. Um, Always, Peter. You are always welcome on my channel. Anytime you ever want to be on, you just we'll get something worked out. We'll definitely. You are always welcome on my music corner. Um, I have a lot of amazing cousins, and February 24th is the birthday of one of my dear favorite cousins, Diane. Cuzzy, I love you. Happy birthday. I hope maybe if you get to see this, I'll let you know that I did this. But anyway, I hope you all have a great night. Rock forever. We'll see everybody soon, and let's ride us out with, once I can find my thing here. Good night, everybody. We'll see you soon.